The sky above Earth was calm. People walked in the streets, children played, and life continued as normal. But high above, beyond the clouds and atmosphere, something massive had arrived. A ship. Not a human ship. It was black, sharp, and so large that it blocked sunlight over parts of the Pacific Ocean. It didn't send a greeting. It didn't ask for permission. Instead, it broadcasted a single message on every frequency across the planet. A deep, mechanical voice echoed across phones, radios, TVs, even inside space stations. People of Earth, we are the Galactic Empire. You will surrender your planet and offer tribute. Send your resources. Send your loyalty. Resist and we destroy you. Panic followed. Air defense units were activated across all continents. Leaders from every major country connected through emergency channels. Satellites locked onto the alien ship. But the data was strange. Its tech was beyond anything Earth had seen. In an underground bunker beneath Iceland, the Human World Council gathered. 12 leaders sat in silence around a long metal table. The room was cold. The screens above them repeated the alien message on a loop. Then the doors opened. A man entered. He wore a black coat. His eyes were calm. No medals on his chest. No introduction. Yet everyone at the table fell silent when he stepped in. The head of the council, an old woman with tired eyes, finally spoke. We need options. What can we offer? How strong are they? The man did not answer right away. He walked slowly toward the main screen. On it, the alien ship floated like a silent mountain in the sky. Then he spoke, quietly. Nothing. The council looked at him. Nothing? Someone asked, You mean we fight? He turned to face them. His voice remained low, almost a whisper. No, I mean we give them nothing. We prepare, and they should run. A few laughed nervously. One man slammed his fist on the table. They're powerful. Their weapons could wipe us out. The man raised his hand gently. They believe Earth is weak. They think we're new to the galaxy, but they're wrong. We've been here before. We just stayed quiet. The room went silent again. The council stared at him. Another screen lit up this time, showing the alien ship launching small scout drones toward Earth's upper orbit. It was a warning. A show of power. They're testing us, one general said. They want to see fear. They want us to bow. But the man in black didn't flinch. Instead, he pressed a button on his wrist. A hidden screen appeared from the wall, one only a few had ever seen. It showed Earth's real defense systems, not the missiles known to the world, not the aircraft humans saw at air shows. These were black ships, silent and fast. Hidden bases. On the moon, subterranean stations under Antarctica. Tech that looked alien, but it wasn't. It was human. Just never revealed. The council members gasped. We were saving these, one whispered, for a real war. The man nodded. This is that war. Meanwhile, in orbit, the alien commander sat on a throne made of steel and light. His name was Lord Velox. He had conquered 73 worlds. Earth was nothing to him. A small insect. He watched Earth's silence with amusement. No reply, no surrender. Just quiet. Scared? He chuckled. They're too scared to speak. An officer stepped beside him. Shall we begin, my lord? The first attack? Velox smiled. Yes, let us show them how little they matter. Back in the bunker, alarms started to blare. Sir, incoming. The Empire just launched a warning shot toward our outer satellite belt. The council turned to the screen. One of Earth's satellites exploded in space, sending fragments scattering toward the dark. But the man in black didn't react. He turned back to the screen, tapped a few commands. Earth's defense grid came online. He looked at the council one last time and spoke softly. Let them think we're afraid. Let them think we're quiet. He paused. Then we make them run. Asterisk, the Empire expected fear. Instead, they were met with silence. Not a single reply came from Earth. No tribute. No surrender. No voice crying for mercy. It confused the Empire's commanders. They had seen entire worlds panic before a single word from them. But Earth ... Earth just stared back. Lord Velox paced the polished floor of his command deck. His golden cape dragged behind him like smoke. Around him, high-ranking officers stood at attention, afraid to speak. "Why haven't they answered?" he growled. "Do they not understand the power we hold?" "They may be analyzing, my lord," said one officer, "or preparing a message." Velox scoffed. "They are nothing but a primitive ball of dirt. Their silence is arrogance. Prepare a second warning. This one will be louder." Far below, Earth still said nothing. But inside a deep mountain facility known as Echo Point, movement was happening at lightning speed. Generals, scientists, and engineers worked around the clock. Lights flashed. Old codes were unlocked. Hidden launch silos were armed for the first time in decades. The man in black stood in front of a large holomap. It showed the Empire's ship in orbit and over a dozen smaller scout vessels circling Earth's upper atmosphere like wolves. Beside him stood a young technician named Tom. Nervous, sweating, but focused. "They've deployed new probes," Tom reported. "Trying to scan our power grid, communication lines. Maybe looking for weak spots." The man in black nodded. "They're testing the surface, but what they can't scan is what's buried deep." Tom looked up. "Why don't we just strike first?" "Because," the man said calmly, "we want them close." He tapped the screen. The orbiting ship glowed red-marked as a target. When they feel safe, that's when the storm hits. In space, one of the Empire's scout ships drifted above Earth's upper orbit. Inside, alien soldiers watched their screens closely. They laughed at Earth's energy levels. No shield generators. No warships. Their weapons are ancient. "This will be easy," one of them said. But as they laughed, something appeared behind them. No alarms. No signal. Just a shadow. A black, triangular object floated silently just above the scout ship's hull. One of the crew members turned, looked out the window, and froze. "What is that?" The shadow moved fast. Too fast. Before anyone could scream, a blue flash lit up the void. The scout ship shattered into dust. Lord Velox roared in anger when he saw the footage. "Destroyed? One of our scouts was destroyed?" Yes, my lord," the officer stammered. No energy readings. No missile trail. It was like it just vanished. Velox stared at the screen. Then he smiled slowly. "Ah, now they speak, not with words, with action." He turned to his second-in-command. "Prepare our fleet. If they want war, we'll give them extinction." Back on Earth, Tom watched the same footage. "One shot," he whispered. They never saw it coming. The man in black nodded. That was Whisper 1. The ship they'll never see coming. The fleet has more like it hidden across the system. Tom's eyes widened. "Wait, you mean we've been preparing for this?" "For decades," the man replied. "We knew one day someone would come demanding power over Earth." He leaned close to the screen. The image of Velox filled it, shouting orders, readying war. "They thought Earth was quiet because we're weak," the man whispered. "That sometimes silence is the sound before a storm." As the stars burned quietly above, Earth's skies remained peaceful. Birds flew. Children played. But underground, behind satellites, beneath oceans, everything was ready. They had warned once. They had whispered once. Now they were loading the guns. Asterisk. The Empire no longer waited. Lord Velox's patience was gone. Earth's silence felt like mockery to him. No fear, no begging, no tribute. It was unacceptable. He stood on the bridge of his flagship, his hands clenched behind his back. Through the giant viewing window, the blue curve of Earth floated peacefully below. "Begin the strike," he ordered. "Yes, my lord," the weapons officer replied. A massive energy cannon beneath the Empire's flagship rotated and locked onto a target, an old space station orbiting Earth, a place once used for peaceful research. The cannon charged. The barrel glowed red. Then boom, the beam sliced through the vacuum of space and vaporized the station in a second. Nothing was left but glowing metal fragments drifting quietly in orbit. On Earth, alarms echoed in every military base dot at Echo Point. Red lights flashed. Tom rushed to the main screen, heart pounding. "They destroyed the Liberty Station," he said. "No warning, no signal, just gone." The man in black didn't blink. "They've opened the door," he said softly. "Now we close it." He tapped his wrist and spoke 2 words. "Release Shadow." High above, hidden behind Earth's shadow, something moved. A long, black spear-shaped ship emerged from behind the moon. Its surface was smooth, its engines silent. It had no markings, no name. Humans called it Shadow Talon, and it was not built for defense. It was built to end wars before they started. Inside, only 3 people sat in total silence. The pilot, a silent woman with cold eyes. The gunner, humming a slow tune to himself. And the commander, who simply said, "Target, enemy flagship, go." The ship blinked out of view. It didn't fly. It vanished. Back on the Empire's ship, Velox stood tall. "They will now know fear," he said proudly. "Send in the—" He stopped. The lights flickered. One officer checked his console. "My lord, there's something weight inside our shields." Before anyone could react, Shadow Talon appeared in the middle of their fleet dot. It didn't fire missiles. It didn't launch drones. It simply opened. And from its belly came a pulse of blue light, a silent, powerful wave that bent space itself. The energy passed through 4 nearby ships. Each one. Warships the Empire had used to crush entire planets, broke apart like toys. No fire, no explosions. Just sudden, brutal collapse. Then Shadow Talon vanished again. Panic. Chaos. Velox's command bridge filled with screams. What was that? How did it bypass our shields? The Empire had never seen weapons like this. No traceable energy. Number. Warning. Just death. They've awakened something, one of the junior officers whispered. Earth was hiding it. Velox slammed his fist down. "Fools! I want that ship found and destroyed." But no one replied, because they had seen what it could do. Meanwhile, Earth finally responded. One message. Short. Cold. "You demanded tribute. We gave you a warning. You attacked. Now we answer. Run." The message played on every Empire. Ship near Earth. And with it came silence. No follow-up. No voice. Just that word "run." In Echo Point, Tom turned to the man in black. "They'll send everything now. Their full fleet." The man nodded. "They think we're one planet," he said. "But Earth isn't alone anymore." Tom frowned. "What do?" "You mean?" The man smiled. "Allies, off-grid colonies. The outer ice stations. Even Mars. We sent a signal the moment they arrived. The response just came in." He pointed to a blinking red dot on the map. Then 5 more appeared. Then 20. And hundreds. Tom stared. That's not just Earth forces." "No," the man replied. "That's everyone Earth trained. Every forgotten human base. Every black-flagged ghost ship. We've been quiet for too long. In the darkness of space, Human ships began to appear from every angle small, fast, armed with weapons that didn't match any galactic designs. Ships that ran silent. Ships that didn't ask questions. The Empire had started a war, but they had no idea what kind of humans. They had poked Asterisk. The Empire thought it had power. Now, it watched the power burn. Ships were falling. The proud silver line of the Imperial fleet. Above Earth's orbit had become a broken trail of twisted metal and scattered screams. The Shadow Talon hadn't returned, but it didn't need to. Something far worse was coming. Lord Velox gripped the edge of his command chair. His golden cape was torn. His crown, once shining with jewels, now hung crooked on his head. "How?" he whispered. "How did we not know about this?" No one answered. The bridge was too quiet now. Many of his commanders were gone. Others stood frozen, afraid to speak. On Earth, the man in black stood inside a control chamber, surrounded by holograms. The map of space flickered above his head, red dots showing Empire fleets, and green ones showing something else. Human. Warships, hundreds, but they weren't heading for Earth anymore. They were heading toward the Empire's heart. Tom stared at the display. "We're not staying here?" "No," the man said. "We don't wait for invaders to return. We take the fire to their sky. But the galaxy will think we're monsters." The man turned slowly to face him. "No, the galaxy will understand. We warned them. And when they demanded our tribute, we chose silence. That silence was there. Second chance." In deep space, far beyond Earth's orbit, the Black Fleet emerged. Each human ship was unique. Some looked like sharp daggers. Others resembled flying tanks. A few were smooth, almost organic. All were armed. All were fast. All were silent. The fleet moved as one, with only 3 words repeated across their comms. No survivors allowed. On the Empire's capital planet, Zenthal, things were still peaceful. Children played. Diplomats gave speeches. Markets buzzed with traders. No one there heard the word run. They would soon. Without warning, the sky above Zenthal cracked. Open. A massive black human ship broke through space itself. A Titan-class dreadnought, over 5 kilometers long. It made no announcement. It gave no speech. It began with a simple act. It disabled the planet's satellites. Then it shut down their orbital defense grid. Then it waited. Inside the Empire's control center on Zenthal. Panic exploded. "They're here," someone shouted. "Where is our fleet? Where are our defenses?" But it was too late. The humans didn't fire from orbit. Instead, hundreds of drop pods rained down like burning comets. Each pod carried 1 human soldier. Not many, just 1. But each of those humans was not ordinary. They were trained on death worlds, forged in gravity twice that of Earth, fed data through combat AI systems since childhood. These weren't troops. They were walking storms. 1 drop pod slammed into the palace gardens. The guards aimed there. Weapons, but a human stepped out with no armor. Just boots, gloves, a scar across his face. The guards fired. He moved faster then. Their eyes could follow. 3 seconds later, they were down. Alive but terrified, he looked at the grand marble doors of the palace, took a breath, and walked inside. Back on Earth, Tom looked at the images coming from the Empire's capital. "They're scared," he said. "But we could destroy them. All right now." The man in black said nothing. "Why don't we just end them?" Tom asked again. The man looked at him, voice calm. "Because fear isn't enough. They need to remember. Every species watching. Every council. Every fleet. They must all see what happens when Earth is threatened." He paused. "We don't burn the galaxy. We show them the match. Then we walk away." Lord Velox watched his capital burn. He fell to his knees inside the ruins of his command room. His face was covered in dust. His guards had left. His fleet was gone. And then, a sound, a whisper, soft, cold, right behind him. Run. He turned slowly. A human stood there, no weapon raised. No hatred on his face, just silence. Why? Velok stammered. Why are you here? The human knelt beside him, spoke clearly. Because you forgot Earth, and Earth never forgets. Then the human walked away, leaving the Emperor kneeling in defeat. Asterisk. Far from Earth, deep in the outer rings of Empire space, the Council of Ancient Records awoke. It was a place forgotten, even by the Empire itself, a vast archive buried beneath a frozen moon. Here, old warnings slept in silence. Warnings about Earth. A single signal had reactivated the systems. The signal was human. Old lights flickered on. Dust lifted from consoles. A robotic voice read the headline of the first classified document. Designation: Earth. Status: Containment. Reason: Galactic level threat. Do not provoke. Inside a data tower, a terrified historian named Rek accessed the files. He had never heard of this document before. Not in school, not in the empires. Training centers. But now, it was real. He opened the next file. A video played. Grainy footage showed a war 10,000 years old. Alien fleets were burning. Human ships moved like shadows, faster, smarter, more brutal than anything the galaxy had ever seen. And the voice of an old alien general echoed through the clip. We tried to break them. But Earth doesn't break. Earth adapts. Earth waits. They go quiet, and then they come back sharper. Back on Zenthal, Lord Velok sat alone. He no longer shouted. He no longer gave orders. He had heard Earth's silence. And now he understood what it meant. In front of him, a human message was displayed on loop. We warned you once. We whispered twice. There will not be a third. On Earth, inside Echo Point, Tom watched the data stream from the frozen archive. 10,000 years ago. He whispered. We were already fighting in space? The man in black nodded. We were part of the first Galactic Council. But they turned on us. Why? The man spoke calmly. They feared us. Not because of our weapons, but because of how fast we learn, how far we'll go, how deep we remember pain. Tom swallowed hard. And what did we do back then? The man looked up at the massive screen. Zenthal in flames. We left, he said. We erased ourselves from galactic maps. We hid in our own sky. We chose peace. Tom stared. And now? Now, the man said, they forced us to remember. In another part of the galaxy, a meeting was called. Leaders from dozens of alien races gathered in secret. They were from neutral planets, trading worlds, independent colonies. None of them had attacked Earth. But now they were all watching the same message broadcasted from human ships. We are not your enemies. But we will not kneel. Do not forget that Earth is not small. Earth is patient. Earth is prepared. Earth remembers. Some leaders cried. Others demanded evacuation plans. A few just stared in silence. One of them, an elder with crystal skin, whispered to his aide. The humans were never gone. They were just waiting for us to forget. On the ruins of Zenthal, the first human banner was planted, not in celebration, but as a warning. It had no flag, no color, just a black field with one word in white. Enough. The human soldiers did not stay. They collected their fallen. They gathered their gear. Then, ship by ship, they vanished into deep space. No broadcasts, no threats, just silence. Again, Tom watched the departures. We could have destroyed them all, he said. The man nodded. Double quotes, yes. But we didn't. Because fear fades, the man replied. But respect lasts longer. Tom looked confused. Then, what was all this for? The man walked to the large window overlooking Earth's horizon. To remind the galaxy, he said, that Earth is not weak. We don't bark. We don't boast. We only whisper once and act once. In the dark corners of the galaxy, stories began to spread. Children were told to never anger the quiet ones. Traders spoke of ships that never appeared on sensors. Soldiers spoke of a war where the Empire tried to claim Earth and nearly vanished. Everywhere, one sentence was passed from mouth to mouth. If Earth ever goes silent, it's already too late. The war was over. But no one celebrated. The stars above Zenthal, once bright with the Empire's warships, now stood empty and silent. Smoke still rose from broken cities. Fires flickered on shattered glass towers. But Earth's ships were gone. They did not raise a flag. They did not make a speech. They did not wait for surrender. They simply left. Lord Velox sat in the ruins of his once mighty palace. The golden floor beneath his knees was cracked. Ash stained his robes. Around him, shattered glass reflected the empty sky. He no longer shouted orders. He no longer asked for tribute. He remembered the voice that whispered behind him before walking away. Because you forgot Earth, and Earth never forgets. He closed his eyes and whispered to no one. We should have listened. Far above, Earth's fleet drifted silently across space. No signals, no broadcasts. Just cold engines and quiet crew. In the center, the Titan-class dreadnought floated like a mountain among shadows. Inside, the man in black stood at the command deck, watching the stars. Tom entered slowly, eyes wide with questions. They're all retreating, Tom said. Empire ships, border patrols, even pirate fleets. Everyone is backing away from Earth's space. The man nodded once. They understand now. Tom looked uncertain. But what if they come back? The man didn't look away from the stars. He simply said, next time we won't whisper. On neutral worlds across the galaxy, something strange happened. Graffiti began to appear not on walls, but on screens, metal, and even sand. No one knew who wrote it. No one saw it happen. But it was there. Earth speaks once. It appeared in spaceports, inside warships, on palace doors. Even in children's books. The meaning was clear. The galaxy now knew Earth's rules. Back on Earth, peace returned. Cities glowed gently again. Oceans sang their old songs. The skies were once more filled with laughter, not warnings, but deep beneath the surface. Echo Point remained active. Tom walked the long metal halls, now quiet, paused beside the man in black, who was staring at a display screen. It showed stars, and one new file blinking. Tom asked, "What's that?" The man answered, "A message from the outer colonies." Tom leaned in. The message read, "We saw what Earth did. We are ready. Just say the word." Tom stepped back. There, waiting for a new war? The man shook his head. They're waiting for peace to last. But they are ready if it doesn't. In a quiet council chamber somewhere far from Earth, dozens of alien leaders sat in silence. No one dared speak first. Finally, one elder, skin glowing faintly, stood and spoke. The humans left. They gave no terms. They demanded no planets. They took nothing. Another whispered, "Then, what do they want?" No one had an answer, but they all remembered the one word that kept echoing since the first contact: run. On the final night before Earth closed its gates to the stars again, Tom and the man stood on a mountain near Echo Point. The sky was clear. Stars shimmered like cold fires above them. Will we ever speak to them again? Tom asked. The man stayed quiet for a while. Then answered, "Only if they forget what silence means." Tom looked up, and if they forget, the man's voice was calm. Then the stars will burn again. In the silence of the cosmos, humanity returned to the shadows. No flags, no empire, no anthem. Just a planet that whispered once and never. Had to shout. Because now the galaxy knew. Earth does not threaten. Earth does not beg. Earth does not kneel. Asterisk Earth remembers. Asterisk asterisk.